and welcome to Can Do Conversations. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, guys. We appreciate you joining us here today.
Yes, welcome.
And we are excited to have you join in on the conversation.
Yes, pull up the chairs, come sit with us.
If you're new here, we have these conversations a couple times a week, and it's basically,
Twice.
Us talking and having conversations that we would normally be having, off camera. We decided, let's put a camera here, let's record, let's get some audio going.
Get it done.
And let's, make a bigger impact in the world. And so that's what we're here for, is we want to, help.
We want to share our conversations.
Yeah, and we want to inspire other people to have more conversations, to talk more and to communicate more and to express more. And so if we can sit here and have these conversations, you surely can sit and have conversations with your spouse, significant other, kids, family. And it goes,
and they're good for us too.
Yeah.
We get so much out of our conversations with you.
Yep. And we've been together a long time. And so we love, we've always sat around or gone for walks or, when we're out driving for trips or what, we're always having conversations and talking about things. So it's like, this is a natural progression. Might as well take our conversations and get them out there.
And we could even talk about our trips maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother chapter. Of conversations to have. We have lots of chapters, and I'm sure that you do as well. And so you should always be growing and changing,
ready to share
and evolving. And so today's conversation that we are going to have is about fortifying your family by focusing in on you.
Yes.
And this can be a very controversial topic because for a long time, I thought the role as a wife and mother is to take care of everybody else and then maybe do a little something for myself, right?
Yes.
And
but
yet,
flip that on its head. It's supposed to be the other way around.
It should be the total reverse. It's like, I need to be working on myself first so that I can be the best version of myself, so that I can give my best self out to others, right? My family, my spouse, my kids, my community. And so going inward and working on me first and taking care of me first helps me to be a better me.
And I've seen a big change from you too by taking more time for yourself instead of right away to the kids or doing something for me. She takes the time for herself to do everything she has planned for herself to do. And that's awesome.
Yeah. And so I know this, for men, women, husbands, wives, mothers, fathers, whatever hat, you're wearing, we all have a lot of things to do. We all have a lot on our plate.
Busy.
And, as a society, people are overwhelmed a lot because we talk to a lot of people. And so we hear a lot of these things like, I don't have time for this. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And so today what we want to have is a practical conversation of things that you can do and what we mean by, and that's why the Can Do family, that's why the Can Do Mom and Can Do Dad is, because we believe that we can do this and so can you. And so that's why these conversations are can do conversations. Are we gonna, sometimes, have a bitch fest and moan and complain? Yeah, but there better be a purpose for that conversation, right? We're always looking at what is the purpose behind this. If we're gonna, go down the rabbit hole of woe is me and nothing don't work and nothing don't go, there needs to be a result to that, right? And so sometimes you do. You just need to have a good just conversation to have that, talk about. And we've had plenty of those. And yet there has to be some sort of result or outcome that we want to get out of that.
Always. It always has to. No matter what kind of conversations you have, think about that. What's going to be the result of you doing all those talks, all the plans, and figuring it out? Or you just don't want an open wound and just gaping just constantly, but you don't want to fix that. You need to figure out where you want it to close.
Right. And so today's conversation, what we mean by fortifying your family, by focusing in on you, is a lot of people feel like there's an attack on the family, right? The family unit. And, what can we do as a society and a culture in the world? It's like, it feels like, it's beating up on the family. And
they're going after it hard.
And not wanting to, really wanting to sever those relationships and those, and cause a divide. And what we're saying,
selfish reasons.
What we're saying is, what? When you fortify your family, when you build that fortress amongst your four walls, right? However those four walls look for you, when you're fortifying that, First, though, the way that you fortify that is you work on yourself. Right? And so when you're working on yourself and you're working on becoming the best version of yourself, then that's a fortifying pillar amongst the family. And if you are a husband and wife or spouses or significant others are working on each individually being the best version of ourselves, then we come together and we bring that to the family.
Well, it brings a tighter unit together.
And we're working on that.
You're always working on that.
Right. And so,
nobody's going to pull it apart.
Instead of being the weak link or instead of being, the one that just kind of does whatever and doesn't really have, it's like, no, we have standards. We have things that we need to do for ourselves first. We have to fill our own cup. We have to work on ourselves. And this is not a one and done. This is an everyday thing.
And this is with male, female, it doesn't matter.
Right. You need to take time each and every day, and preferably at the beginning of the day.
Right. You shower every day, right? At least we hope so.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Yes, and some days maybe not, but you still have things to do to take care of yourself.
And we believe our belief is a day is a day is a day is a day. So whether it's Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, it doesn't matter, right? The sun comes up and the sun goes down. Today's a little cloudy. The sun came up though. I knew it was there. I knew it still came up. I couldn't see it, but guess what? Here we are in the day, right?
Yes.
It's that time of year where sun's a little gloomy out.
It's gloomy.
Yeah, it's definitely.
It's gloomy.
There's some gloom out there, and yet
and fog.
That at the end of the day, the sun's still out there, right? It still came up this morning and it's still making its trajectory and it's still going to go down tonight, right?
And you still got up.
And the moon is going to come out and there's cycles. And so we believe that this is something that no matter the day, because we've had this conversation before, like who came up with this, like Monday through Friday, this is what you do.
Oh,
and
we
Saturday
talk about it
through
all
Sunday,
the time.
This is what you do.
Yeah, it's supposed to be party time on the weekends and you just look forward to that, or your paycheck, that you get on Friday, and you just go splurge instead of taking care of the things you need to for the week and the weekend.
Or, Monday through Friday is for work, and then Saturday and Sunday is for fun or for relaxation it's like, why is it an either or? Why is it an and? Like, we can do these things during the week. We can do these things on the weekend. We can do these things in December as we can in June and January and July. It's like, it's all, it's the same. It's the same thing. And so
could you imagine as a society how further we would be?
If everyone was
on the same page and strove for more and did their shit on the weekends also.
Right, because, we have 52 weeks in a year. There's 2 days. That's over 100 days out of the 365 days. That's a lot,
it's
right?
A lot.
And so could you imagine if you were, working out, or you were reading, or you were praying and meditating, or you were spending more time with your family, or you were, maybe putting a little extra time into your side hustle or your business, or, learning a new skill, and you did those things every day, not one day here and one day there, or you drank water, or you made better food choices, or you decided to get, more rest, or you decided to pray and meditate, or you decided to want to journal, and you did that. That became who you were, right? And not that you need a stack of things to do at the beginning of your day to be able to succeed. It's like, no, but to be able to be the best version, these are the things that you don't have to do every single one. You need to find what works for you. And so, while I can say, and I get up and I do this and this and this, you need to do you.
It's going to be different with everybody else.
And yet what we're saying is you do need to find what that is for you.
Yourself.
And you need to take care and focus on yourself first thing. Because if I was to, and that's why we get up earlier, right? Any day that we don't get up earlier is a day that's a mess.
That's right.
And the reason
steps aren't done, your reading's not done, your meditation's not done. It just goes on and on and on.
And then it still has to get done, though. So then what happens? It goes later into the day. And so then all day I'm rushing. I'm like, okay, I need to get this in over here. I need to get this in over here. I would just rather get up in the morning, get the things done, and then have the rest of the day to focus in on what I need to focus on at that time. Instead of feeling like, I'm rushing, or I'm running, or I'm, half-assing this, or I'm over here, but I'm really thinking I need to be over there. And so when you can plan out things like, this is what I'm going to do. And we've even started talking about, like, I want some productive work time in the morning too, right?
Without any interactions.
We have kids and we have businesses and we have things that we do and we homeschool and we there's slap labels, titles, whatever you want.
And they get up, and sometimes they get up early and they want to be by your side.
Right.
and that interrupts certain things that you have set for yourself.
And so if I know the time the kids are going to get up, by that time, now some days they sleep in, some days, okay. But if I can work backwards and say, look, I'm going to carve out this time for me over here. That's me time. And if they do happen to get up earlier, I can say, look, guys, this is me time. You need to go back to bed. You need to go read a book. You need to go entertain yourself because this is the time that I've devoted to myself. I will be with you and I'll take care, as soon as I'm done taking care of myself, right? And for a long time, it was hard to do that. It's like, well, the kids need me. And, I'm supposed to be there for them. I'm supposed to take care of this. But guess what? I wasn't taking care of myself, right? I wasn't eating what I needed to be eating. I wasn't working. I wasn't moving. I look back at my phone. We were doing this on a walk not too long ago. And we've had these phones for years now. And even if you got a new one, it still keeps your data of like your trajectory. And the amount of steps I was not getting in was like ridiculous. Now we have
2,500 or something.
Some days it was like snails walked more.
Now the
than I did.
average is over 10. So that's a good thing.
And it's because why? That was the benchmark that I set for myself. I was like, look, before my head lays down on the pillow at night, I need to get at least 10,000 steps in. Now, some days I get more.
Yes.
Some days I'm fighting for every last step, right?
And if it's short, 1,000 or 2, you're going to do them real fast before you go to bed.
And guess what? The faster you walk, the more steps you get in. So you just...
Yes.
And so, again, though, there's standards, right? And so it's like, this is what I said I'm going to do for myself. And how this is fortifying your family and bringing it back to that is that by you being the best version of yourself, by me being the best version of myself, and by him being the best version of his self, we are being better for our spouses. We're being better for our kids. We're being better for our home. We're being better for our businesses. And so we are fortifying what we're controlling what we can control, which is ourselves. What we do, what we say we're going to do, and the commitments that we make.
What happens, just say, you get up earlier, and sometimes you don't get up. And then what happens when you push off those 4 or 5 things from the morning to mid-afternoon? Sometimes they don't get done because other things are going to get in there. Other things. Oh, it's dinner time. Oh, you got to take her to archery. Practice. Something comes up. Homework that you have to help with. And then what's going to happen, you keep pushing that aside, you're going to start pushing all that stuff off, and then you're not going to do it. Everything that you had listed you were supposed to do, out of those 8 things, those 10 things, you're going to get done 2 things. And one was your shower and getting ready for the day. So that means you need to really push it back and focus hard on what you're doing so you don't do that.
And
because it's automatically going to happen.
It is. And that's why, I don't like to think that we have to have a certain list of things because then it becomes like a checklist and you're just checking it off, right? It has to be intentional. There has to be intent behind it and there has to be a reason for doing that, right? And so it's like, I don't need a laundry list of more things to do. So now I'm getting up earlier to get these things done. These are things that I want to do. And sometimes they change, right? I'm looking, is this serving me? Am I getting what I need to get? Do I need to change this up? And so I'm always checking in with myself and saying, okay, I said I'm going to, count my macros. Am I doing that, right? I said I'm going to drink a gallon of water. Am I doing that? I said I'm going to read, first thing in the morning. I said I'm going to get my 10,000 steps in at the end of the day. So these are things but I'm putting that on for myself, right? And that doesn't mean
anybody else.
It's not
somebody else's responsibility.
On somebody else. These are things that I can do. These are wins that I'm creating for myself. Now I've also said, you know what? Now I want to carve out some time first thing in the morning because it's quiet. Right? There's no distractions.
And it's dark outside.
There's no one around, especially right now, right? Yes. There's not phones ringing, emails going, kids, this, that, the other. And so I want focused, dedicated time that I can just work on the business stuff too, right? And
then you're already ahead.
I'm already ahead. So then if I don't get back to it because, breakfast and kids and things and homeschooling and all that, I might not get back to like work-related stuff until 10, 11 o'clock. Yes. Right? But then if I didn't carve out any time, then I haven't done anything for it until that time either.
And then you're going to feel better for yourself.
Right. I'm like, okay, what?
When you finally get to it, you're going to know, okay, I took care of that already.
Right.
So now let me move on to the other things that need to be done.
And with that quiet time, I'm able to then focus in on things. So maybe you don't have your own business. Maybe that's another quiet time that you can focus. Maybe you want to start a business, or maybe you want to pursue a new skill, or you want to learn something new. Take that time for yourself
to get creative, because that's your creative time.
It's quiet.
When you're up early before anybody else and it's quiet, and you can just grab your blanket and sit back, and then that's your time. And then you could even figure out that's your creative time also, because you're going to be creative, because you're going to be in your mind. It's going to be quiet for you to do anything you want to do for yourself.
And let's say you have a job, and so you know, at a certain time you have to leave the house, right? And so that time for you in the morning, again, is that quiet time, is that creative time, is that reflective time, that you know that, you know, your boss isn't over here asking you to do something, you're not expected to do this and that. It's time that you're taking for yourself. If you don't have any other time for yourself throughout the day, you started with you. And what we mean again by fortifying your family is you're not putting yourself off till the back burner. You're not putting yourself at the last of the list. And normally we all know the last of the list doesn't get done, right? And so, and it's easy to get in this cycle of, well, I didn't do it today or tomorrow or the next day. And it's like, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to do this. This is more important, right? This needs my attention right now. And there are times that things come up. Right? And if I don't get my things done, is the whole day shit? No. But it is more of a challenge because I'm like, I still need to do these things because these are the standards I set for myself. So whether this happens or not, in the morning, I have to get it done by the end of the day. Right? I have to make sure I'm eating the food I said I'm going to eat. I have to make sure I'm getting my water. I have to make sure that I'm getting my steps in. These are the commitments I made to myself. Right? And so I keep the commitments I make to myself just like I keep the commitments I make to other people. And it's very easy.
You're building that mental energy for yourself also. You're not tiring yourself out at all. You're getting stronger by doing that. On the daily, you're getting stronger for yourself.
And I know that when I do these things, I'm a better person. I am more creative. I am more patient. I am more loving. I am more kind. I am more focused and more driven. And I also know that I have won already. I've already stacked these wins at the beginning of the day. So
you see the smile coming out?
You're winning.
When you're winning,
right?
You're smiling.
So it was funny. Jaden was reading Ed Milet's latest book.
That's not his name.
Yeah, well, they call him Eddie Miletti, but anywho, that's what they call him. But The Power of One More, and in there, you know, Jaden was reading because he read his previous book, and so now he reads, you know, some fun adventure, fantasy, sci-fi type of things, and then he goes back to, you know, like personal development.
Our books.
So he picked it up, and he's like, because Ed has a saying, and he says, you know, winning is more fun than fun is fun. And Jaden's like, what the heck? Mom, what? He's saying that winning is more fun than fun is. What does that mean? And so then him and his brother, they were talking about it. And so I had to explain. And so when we kind of broke it down, he was like, oh, winning is more fun than fun. Winning's pretty fun. I'm like, yeah. So then a few days later, something was going on. Oh, and I think it was we were playing Monopoly or something. And, you know, someone won. And they're like, that is true. Like, winning is more fun than fun is fun. And so
especially when he's winning.
It's like, you know, And so it's like these little things. It's like when you have those wins throughout your day, it makes it more fun, right?
Yes, and it brightens up your day.
And when you're winning by keeping the commitments you make to yourself, then you know that you're being honest, you're being truthful. You can rely on you. No matter what's coming up, you are taking care of you. And you know that your spouse, they're responsible for taking care of themselves too, right?
Yep.
And if you are together with somebody,
then everybody's taking care of each other.
And you can kind of sometimes see like, hey, you know what? They're not doing the things they said they're going to do. Are you going to nitpick at it, or are you going to inspire them by you doing what you said you're going to do? You keeping the commitments. Then they have a decision to make. Because if you're constantly like, hey, you
are
didn't do this,
they going to jump on board?
You didn't
or
do that.
Not?
It's like, I don't go and be like, yeah, you didn't get your steps in. What do you? It's like, no, he knows, just like for me. He's like, and so sometimes
we question each other.
We
What's
check
your steps?
in, right?
What's
we hold each other somewhat accountable, but we're not over there saying, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. That's on them. That's on me.
And then by doing that nitpicking, you're picking at somebody, and you know what's going to happen. I mean, you're starting a challenge. You're starting that by doing that nitpick. You think it's funny, but it's not funny because
there's always truth to it.
There's truth to it, and people don't want to be picked on because they're going to give it back to you, and then you're going to be like, "What? I was just joking." You're going to need to be able to accept that because you started it, and you shouldn't do that to anybody else because you don't want that energy back at you.
Now we say that, but we also hold each other accountable.
Right.
And there's a difference.
We don't nitpick.
There's a difference between nitpicking and holding someone accountable. So again, like when we have our Sunday meetings and we sit down and we're talking to each other, it's like, okay, do we do the things we said we're going to do this week? If not, okay, what needs to change? What tweaks do we need to make to make sure Do you need help in something? Is there something I can help you with? And so when you're coming from a place of a conversation versus
and love.
an attack,
And love.
right? You do have to sometimes have tough love, though. Sometimes be like, look, you haven't been doing the thing you said you're going to do. What is going on? Sometimes they need a swift kick, right? And everyone needs that from time to time.
Too.
And yet, there's a difference between that and nitpicking, right? There's a difference between that and saying, well, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and you're not going to do this.
Snarky comments.
And then it does become some of those little snide remarks, those little jabs, little things here and there.
And nobody likes that.
And so be cautious in that. And this is where it all comes from, the family fortifying, right? Because we're creating that family fortress by fortifying
your family,
ourselves, fortifying our family. But it starts with us. We have to be the person that we said we are going to. We have to keep the commitments that we said we were going to.
It's taking time out.
Yeah.
Taking time out for yourself, knowing that you're going to be okay. You have this time for yourself to make yourself happier, to line it up, to get ready, to have fun, to enjoy life, but it's spreading joy because you're automatically taking care of yourself. And the more you take care of yourself, the more you can spread your joy.
And you know that you're doing what you said you're going to do, right? And you feel better about yourself. So then you radiate a different energy. And you take that into your family. You take that into your community. You take that into your work or your business. You take that into, I mean, even, you know.
Yes, your work will notice too.
Maybe you don't, maybe you work from home, or maybe you just take care of the home. All of those things, especially if you just take care of the home, then you take care of yourself, because you're constantly giving, doing all these things. And if you're not taking care of you, it's not going to be the best version of you that it could be.
That means put the brakes on right away and never take care of yourself at the end.
No.
You put the brakes on right now, please. Because
we all know the excuse. Well, I'm tired. I'll do it tomorrow.
I'm not going to do this for myself.
I don't have the time for it. Excuse, right? You're best at making your own excuses for yourself because you buy your own excuses, right?
You know yourself.
Someone else can be like, well, they could have a rebuttal. Well, if you do have time, we could do this. Or, you know, and so you lie to yourself better than anyone else lies to you.
Right. Just like how much time you're on the phone. I mean, if you're on the phone an hour, a couple hours a day, that's a lot of time you could be taking care of yourself.
Yep. And so find those little moments. And if you're not able to carve out all the time that you need in the morning, then carve out little time throughout the day. But be intentional with them. If you say at 12 o'clock you're going to do this, then do it.
Right.
Set an appointment with yourself, right? If you say, you know what, in the evening I'm going to the gym, then do that, right?
Yes,
and
set alarms before that. Set yourself up. Don't let it, all of a sudden it goes off and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know what I had to do.
Or you said you were going to do something, and let's say you are going to the gym, but you're out over here, and then you don't have your workout clothes to go. And so it's like you've got to set yourself up for success. And keeping the commitments you make to yourself, that's how I'm doing it. It's like I set appointments with myself just like I set appointments with anyone else, right? And so when it's on the calendar and it's on an appointment, or there's a clock or an alarm or a timer or whatever it is, I said I'm going to do these things, right? And so I wouldn't say, well, sorry, I'm not going to do that to somebody. I'm not going to make that appointment. It's like, no, I'm making the appointment with myself. And so, and that is how you build a stronger you. That is how you build a stronger family. Yes. And the more you do it,
the easier it gets.
Momentum you create, and the easier it does get. You're going to have challenges and hurdles and setbacks, but you keep doing it. And so once you've exercised that muscle again and again and again and again, it makes it easier once you do get off track to get back on and keep going.
Well, it's an automatic reaction. It's an automatic thing that you're going to do for yourself as soon as you get up. You're going to do it for your kids. You're going to do it for your family. A lot of things are going to be done already because you took care of yourself. And then the rest of your day is going to be so much easier, no matter what you have planned.
And you know what? It's not, we understand that there's not a utopia, right? And there's not perfect balance either. However, if you want to find that in your life, then you have to create that for yourself. And so making it, you can either make excuses or you can, make results for what you want. And if getting up in the morning and focusing on yourself is not what you're going to do, then don't do that. Figure out when it works best for you. If it's a different time, maybe you're going through a season of life and you've got a lot of things going on in the morning.
Maybe they work at night.
And so you have to find, you got to try this on for size, and it's not a cookie cutter, this is how it is.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be in the morning.
You need to figure out the time for you that you're taking care of you sometime throughout the day. Whether
Yes.
that's
Before you go to bed.
whether that's in the morning, you get up and you get ready to work. Okay, great, do that. But then when throughout the day are you going to take those times for yourself? Or maybe you just had a baby, or you've got a family, or you've got kids, or they need, okay,
Yes.
so if they need you, then when are you carving out?
Yes.
Can you tag team with your spouse? Can you have someone come into the house to help you? Like,
And they're going to help you.
There's multiple ways of being able to do this. So we're talking from our own perspective, okay? And I don't want you to feel like you have to take our perspective and make it totally yours.
No, make
this
it
conversation,
yours.
though,
Whatever you want.
is for you to see where are you taking care of yourself throughout the day. There's 24 hours in a day. How you structure those is completely up to you.
Maybe you need to go to bed later to take care of what you want to take care of for yourself, and then you go to bed.
Or maybe you need to go to bed earlier so you can get up earlier so
Yes.
that you can carve out the time in the
And that's what we
beginning
have
of
to
the day,
start doing for
right?
ourselves.
And so there's multiple ways. There's not just a one and done. This is how it is. This is the answer. This
Nope.
is go. It's you've got to look within yourself and figure out what is the best way for me to put this in, so that way a day doesn't go by when you're not taking care of yourself.
Right. You have a calendar. Maybe stick to that 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe it's 5 o'clock p.m. You never know.
Maybe it's
Just
after dinner
plan
and
it
the
out.
kids go down for bed and you take care of yourself then. Okay,
Yes.
great.
They're doing the dishes while you're after dinner. Then you have time for yourself.
Or maybe you have
With your
littles
full belly.
and they go down earlier, so then you have a little more in the evening. So you've got to figure out what season of life are you in? What are you going after? What are you wanting? What does your family fortress look like for you? How does taking care of yourself, what does that mean for you? What are the standards that you're holding for yourself? What are the things that you want to do on a daily basis for yourself, right? Maybe,
Maybe they don't know.
and so this is a whole new conversation
whole
to have.
new conversation.
And if you
Maybe
don't,
you don't know.
you don't know what you don't know, so you don't do anything, do something. Pick something. Just anything. There's no right or wrong. Do
Anything.
one. And put on the hat.
Something that makes you feel better.
And see how you feel. Like, hey, you know what? Maybe pumping weights is not your thing, okay? Maybe you
Right.
want to do
Maybe
Pilates.
maybe you want bands.
Maybe you want to do bands. Maybe you want to go to a class. Maybe you want to
Start taking walks in the evening.
So there's so many different. You just got to work on you. Maybe you don't
Yeah.
want to read. Maybe you would rather
Want to listen to audio.
meditate.
Yes.
Maybe you don't want to pray. You want to visualize. Whatever that is, right? Maybe you're like, I don't want to count macros. I just want to eat better. Well, what does eat better mean for you,
Yes,
right?
that means throw away the junk and then bring in new stuff.
And so there is no right or wrong. There's just results, and there's just an outcome. And what is the outcome that you want? How are
And
you
not
taking
your partner. Don't be thinking about your partner in the middle of all this. Saying, okay, well, they're not going to like this, but they don't really have anything to do with you right now because you're focused on yourself.
And that's something I've had to learn too, is because, obviously we live together. We also
Do
work
we?
together. And so a lot of times we do things together. But I've had to be okay with, you know what? I said I'm going to do this. If he's not doing it, I'm doing it because that's
Right.
what I said I'm going to do, right? So whether he's coming along for the ride today, hey, he can
Yes.
do what he needs to do.
Right. Get your
I
ass
gotta
up
do
out of
what
bed.
I need to do. And I'm not going to let him doing something he said over here affect me and what I'm doing over here.
Yes.
Right? And so some mornings maybe he's not feeling great. He's like, I'm gonna sleep a little longer. Great. Doesn't
Yep.
I'm good. I'm gonna get up, right? Or maybe someone, isn't you gotta there's
Figure
different
that out.
things, but you cannot make your spouse your crutch. And a lot of
No.
times, for a long time, we did. We would feed into each other's bullshit. And it's like, well, I don't feel good. I don't feel good either. I'm tired.
Okay.
I'm sleeping
I'm
less.
sore. I can't move.
It's like, and so it's like, yeah. And so
Yeah.
you kind of have like this
No.
bullshit fest together.
No.
And it's like, no
Just
longer.
stop it.
Right? And so let our experiences help you. And that's why we're having these conversations, because
Yeah, so you
it
can have your
is-
conversations.
It is easy when you're in a relationship and you know the other person really well, and it's like, you know what, the bed's really nice and warm and cozy right now. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
how are you doing? And you're supposed to get up, and so you're already awake, and you're kind of talking to the person like, we go back to sleep,
Yes.
or hey,
Yeah.
do you want to lay here a little longer? Or,
Just like just like last night.
Yeah.
We decided to have conversations when it was
Yeah,
time
so
to
you
sleep.
land-
we're just going and going
we were
nonstop.
up. Like,
we
wait.
were up.
I'm like, okay, the morning's coming early now, but we were talking, and okay,
Yes,
right?
having a conversation.
And so,
And I did like that, by the way.
no, yeah, it was nice.
It's
Maybe
like
a
we
little
don't-
earlier in the
we
day.
need to talk a little more.
Maybe earlier in the
Because you're
day.
doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, and we don't communicate. I want more of that.
Even though we do communicate, there's different kinds of communication.
Right, but we're just having conversations.
It's not
just to
about the
have
kids or about
conversations.
work or about this or that
Something.
plan. Sometimes
Yes.
it's nice just to sit down and talk.
Yes.
And that's where,
So I
those,
like that more.
those carving
Yes.
out, right? And having those different discussions. So we'll
Yes.
put that in there that,
Yes,
you know,
I'm missing you.
okay. So
Yes.
Noted, right? And
Yes.
maybe that means we need to carve out some time in the evening. That's just
For
us.
us.
And so
Right.
does that mean the kids need to go to bed a little earlier so we have a little more time in the evening?
Yes.
Maybe so, right? And so even if they're awake, and that's one challenge we have right now in this house, is like
Oh.
they can be in bed, but they
they're
can be
roaming.
It's like they're sitting on the couch listening to everything we have to say.
Oh, yeah. We can't even watch shows at night
No, we don't.
because anything.
They hear it.
We just play music.
And they're like,
but
"What?"
when we do, out of the blue, what do you call them? The rom-com? What do you call
Oh,
it?
yeah,
The
rom-coms.
Rom-coms. And then it's time. They're like, so
what's happening over here? What's going
I hear
on?
it. It's fun. Can you turn it down?
I can
But
barely
they're
hear it.
watching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to, again, it's
We
like
have wait till they sleep
the
to
older they
actually
get-
watch something.
which
So-
means it's later, and we
And
normally
later,
aren't up later.
And then we're not up
No,
late.
no. I'm like,
No.
are we watching this? Or we're going to bed. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Yeah.
bed.
So yeah, we got to carve out that little bit of time in there. So
Yes.
these are the conversations to have. Start with the conversation with yourself, then have a conversation with your spouse. What are
Yes.
the commitments you're making for yourself? How are you fortifying your family by taking care of yourself
Making them a
first?
tighter unit.
Making yourself the priority first. As backwards as that may feel and seem, you're
Yes.
going to be a better you
Yes.
for everyone else around you when you prioritize yourself.
Yeah, just flip it, reverse it,
And it's going to feel weird, it's going to feel awkward, and it's going to feel strange
and your
in the
whole
beginning.
day is going to be off at
But
first.
then when you start checking in with yourself, well, how am I feeling?
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that's done already.
I actually got more done today. Okay. I'm feeling good because I'm not having to think about all these things that you do. I already did them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so just freeing up that mind space, that head space of not thinking, well, I got to do this. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? If you can know when you're going to do it and keep those commitments when you said you're going to do it, then it frees up a lot of time, effort, and space and energy in your day to be able to focus
Yes.
in on where you're at in that present moment.
Because that energy is important.
Yep. So we're certain that you got a lot out of this conversation. Make sure you share this one out
Yes, and
with
thank you for being here
other people
again.
who could join in on the conversation as well. We appreciate you spending part of your
Yes.
day here with us, and
And
that's
you
what
are
we're here
loved.
for. To make sure that we're continuing the conversation. Take this and run with it. Don't just listen to it. Apply it into your life and
Yes.
let us know how you are applying it.
Yes, and reach out to us.
We love hearing from you guys. Make sure that you share this out, and we will talk to you guys
Thank
soon.
you.
And remember, we can do it.
So can you.
And so can you guys. I wanted to see if everyone's going to finish
We
the
can
sentence
do
there.
it, and so can you.
All right, guys. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.